What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the October 23rd, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. A little late to the party here. This did air 2 days ago, but better late than never, I guess. We get right into it with a replay of the Brock Lesnar Rampage that opened SmackDown on Friday, that awesome segment, that awesome angle. Yes, it did run a little long at over 30 minutes, but I was compelled every step of the way, and I fucking loved it, so I have no complaints. A little less wrestling than usual on SmackDown, but that might have been because they just came over from Saudi Arabia, like mere hours earlier, so I get it. But anyway, Matt Camp calls it the best version of Brock Lesnar, and honestly, I wholeheartedly agree with that. They talk about it being the first night with the new rosters, even though we got someone from the Raw show on SmackDown, that being the now Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, whatever. So yeah, they talk about the first night with the new rosters, and there's still more people to come over. When Jackie asks Matt who he thinks are the next breakout stars on the Blue brand, he cites Xia Li, who we have yet to see in person on SmackDown, but she's on her way. We saw a vignette for her on Friday. He cites Hit Row, who got off to a great start with their debut on Friday night. He also mentioned Sheamus and Jeff Hardy as two people to kind of keep an eye out for, as Sheamus is gunning for his first ever Intercontinental Championship. And Jeff Hardy might be a surprise pick as well. He hasn't had a lot of luck lately on the Raw brand, but I think he could be a great opponent for Roman Reigns at some point for that Universal Championship. They also recap Drew McIntyre beating Sami Zayn one-on-one in the first time ever encounter. We hear from Drew McIntyre backstage at SmackDown with Megan Moran, and McIntyre says that he got SmackDown back on track following the chaos that kicked off the show with Brock Lesnar. And he was very happy to knock the annoying head off of Sami Zayn's shoulders and hitting him with that Claymore kick and picking up the win. As far as what's next for him, he says, I'm not the type of person to be like, I'm going for the Universal title right here, right now. Because he knows, realistically and in storyline, that's not how it works. He knows that he's not getting that match with Roman anytime soon, nor should he. He's ready for whatever comes his way. So he doesn't have an immediate angle right off the bat on SmackDown. But picking up a win in his first night, a part of the Blue brand, is a good way to kick things off. Matt Camp says that, in talking about Hit Row, he says that Isaiah Swerve Scott, this was the line of the episode, Swerve is coming off, according to Camp, a fantastic NXT North American title reign. And I had a good laugh at that. Because, yes, Scott was champion for 3.5 months. He barely defended the fucking thing. He had one defense the same night that he lost it to Carmelo Hayes. In the 3 months that he was North American champion, the 3+ months, he didn't defend the thing once. Aside from the very last night in the surprise win over Santos Escobar. That's it. So I don't know if I would... I know, and the part that's disappointing about that was that, is the fact that Matt Camp is very knowledgeable. Matt Camp kind of speaks from the standpoint of the people. He's likable. I really like Matt Camp on these shows. So I know he's doing the WWE, shtick, but I don't know if I would have gone as far as to say that Swerve is coming off a fantastic North American title reign, in his words. But nonetheless, they recap Hit Row's debut, picking up a win over two local athletes. Matt Camp says that they bring a different vibe and energy to the SmackDown brand, and to keep an eye out for potential pairings. He kind of hints at the fact there was a report earlier in the day that Top Dollar might be the breakout single star, but we saw Top Dollar and Swerve in tag team action on the show, and not just Swerve or Ashanti and Swerve or Ashanti and Top Dollar. It was a tag team match with those two, which was interesting. So keep an eye out for the potential pairings. And hopefully, unlike what he said here, B-Fab is not going for the women's title. I do not need to see that anytime soon. She needs a lot of improvement before that can be the case. They replay the King Xavier Woods coronation from earlier in the evening on SmackDown. Matt Camp says he will be a fair king. Kayla Braxton catches up with Xavier backstage at SmackDown. They're in the middle of taking pictures with Xavier having the crown on, the scepter, and the throne. And Woods says he could not have asked for a better coronation. As someone who grew up watching King of the Ring, it was his boyhood dream. He fulfilled that dream on Thursday at Crown Jewel. And Kofi, being interviewed about it, said that he was very happy to, give Xavier his flowers, and that, he kind of plays up all of his accomplishments and how there wouldn't be a New Day without Xavier. There wouldn't be any Up, Up, Down, Down without Xavier, this very successful gaming channel that they run. And it was a really cool moment for them both and the entire, New Day and the WWE Universe and everything else. And Braxton does bring up how he's always wanted to win it and how he was interviewed about it on a red carpet a few years ago and all that other stuff. And Wood says that it was incredible to be in it, let alone win the whole thing. Like, it was cool for him to get past the first round, and then the second round. Then he won the entire fucking thing. And he mentions how he speaks his goals into existence. He's right. You know, years ago, he wanted Kofi Kingston to become world champion, and he did. He wanted to be the host of G4 if they ever brought it back, and he did. And now he's the king of the ring, as he said that he was going to be. So I think that's pretty fucking cool. Back to the studio, Camp and Redmond replay the Happy Corbin versus Nakamura match, with Corbin pinning Nakamura, Matt Camp calling it a full circle moment. I guess it makes sense for Corbin to want to take Nakamura, the thing away from Nakamura that means the most to him, a lot like Nakamura took the crown away from him and created his downfall. I guess it makes sense, but the matches really aren't anything special. I'm just beyond ready to move on from the feud. But anyway, they also replay the main event segment, which I'm not really sure why they felt the need to, because it was fucking terrible, the championship exchange. And no, they did not include the part where Charlotte dropped the Raw Women's Championship. They included the part where Becky tossed the SmackDown Women's Championship at Charlotte Flair, kind of aggressively threw it to her. But they left out the part where Charlotte, like, purposely dropped, or in her words, accidentally, the Raw Women's Championship. Jackie says, and this was a fucking shoot, Jackie says it was heated, and that the hate feels real between those two women, that being Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, and she could not have been any more accurate if she tried. We hear from Sasha Banks backstage at the show, being interviewed very briefly by Kayla Braxton, with Sasha saying that, you know, she gets very emotional talking about seeing the fans in the stands in Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel, like the little girls watching her, and it was a really meaningful moment for her. And she respects the hell out of Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair, but she's still the blueprint, the boss, the conversation, and she will be the next SmackDown Women's Champion. This felt like more of like a babyface Sasha, which was weird because it's not like an out-of-character interview. It was on WWE TV. So I was surprised that she was so nice with Kayla, unless she's turning face again, which who fucking knows? Who knows what anyone is supposed to be at this point? But that was the end of the interview. Then to close out the episode, Matt Camp talks about how both Banks and Flair have a history of trading championships. If you look back at 2016 and the many battles they had over the Raw Women's Championship, Sasha beat her for the belt on Raw, the first Raw of like the new era, in July of 2016. Charlotte beat her for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. Sasha beat her for the Raw Women's Championship on Raw in October. Charlotte beat her for the Raw Women's Championship at Hell in a Cell. Sasha won it back again for a third time on Raw in a Falls Count Anywhere match in November, I'm pretty sure. And then Charlotte won it back one final time from Charlotte or Sasha lost it one final time to Charlotte at the Roadblock pay-per-view. So when he says trading titles back and forth, he is not exaggerating. I don't remember a single match that these two had where the championship did not change hands, if you don't include NXT. So there you go. That was the October 23rd, 2021 edition of Talking Smack. I like the Xavier Woods stuff. Sasha was short, sweet, straight to the point. And then McIntyre was good too. I feel like we're going to hear a lot from McIntyre, a lot like we did on Raw Talk for the many weeks he was on that show. But he's always great, so I can't really complain. Solid stuff here. Check it out right now on Peacock. And thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Check out all the other exclusive interviews going up here on the channel already and in the days to come. Today we had Rey Mysterio. Tomorrow it's Indy Hartwell here on the channel. I also have a Dark Side of the Ring review coming at some point. Q&A videos. We got Skylar Gray, recording artist. She was awesome. We had a chance to chat with her, Doc and I, on Thursday of last week or Tuesday of last week about Venom. That's going to be going up soon. And then Wednesday, I believe, is my interview with Jeff Jarrett. So a lot of stuff going on this week, guys. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. Have an awesome week, guys. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.